Is your home an ADT home? If not, listen up, gang. You need to get ADT to help protect against break-ins, fire, and even carbon monoxide. And now, for a limited time, get ADT's lowest rate, starting at just $28.99 a month from the most trusted name in home security. That's just $1 a day. You spend way more than $1 on your morning coffee. ADT is the first security company to help keep you safe at home and when you're on the go with the new ADT Go app. ADT Go has some great features like family locator, private messaging, automatic check-ins, and safe driving reports. It even includes an SOS button with 24/7 emergency response. And if you need more of a reason to buy, you get ADT Go with a purchase of any security system. Seriously, guys, it's a great deal. Protect yourself and your family right now. Go to ADT.com/podcast to take advantage of ADT's lowest rate. ADT, tested, trusted, proven. With 36-month monitoring contract, early termination and installation fees apply. Excludes taxes and fees. Applies to traditional services only. Certain markets excluded. Licenses available at ADT.com.
Great news. There's a quick way you can save money. Switch to Geico. Geico could help you get great coverage at a great price. And it only takes 15 minutes to see if you could save 15% or more on car insurance. Go to geico.com today and see how much you could save.
Welcome in to another edition of Golic and Wingo on ESPN Radio and ESPN2. We are presented by Progressive Insurance, and all phone guests will join us on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Mike Golic, Trey Wingo here with you. Good weekend?
It's wonderful. Are you kidding me? The only problem is 3 went to Pinehurst, 2 made it back.
Yeah, we lost Junior somewhere along Tobacco Road.
He veered off into Minnesota to golf in another tournament with Kyle Rudolph from the Vikings, and oh my gosh, let me tell you, there's no way I could have continued on from the weekend that we had to go to another. But man, what a fun weekend that was!
We had a blast.
Wow,
it was the first of what we believe will be annual.
Let's go,
Golic and Wingo Leadership Retreat. Down at Pinehurst, North Carolina, the folks there took really good care of us.
Incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, the people down there. We're going to get more into it, and we'll talk about who the winner was. The winner is one of the two of us.
Yes,
and it's not me.
Championship.
But Pinehurst, they were fantastic. Fantastic. Can't speak already. Devin, Elizabeth, Shanice were down there from our side.
They did a great job.
Unbelievable, and what they did with all the winners down there. It was just a fantastic time. That place, for me, not a golfer, that place is as advertised.
Look, it's really the cradle of American golf, if you think about it in a lot of ways, in a pioneering resort. And I know there have been other clubs and other courses that have been around longer, but what Pinehurst has been able to do, and again, we'll get into it a lot a little bit later and the details of it all, but it's just a neat little place. So we'll get into that a little bit later. We got some great guests coming up today. Jessica Mendoza from Sunday Night Baseball will join us a little bit later. Royce Young from our ESPN reporter for the Oklahoma Thunder.
There's some news going out there.
Well, there's some issues there.
Yeah, there are.
Some players are forcing some hands.
Yes, they are.
Which they can do and they should do because of what's available to them. He'll join us a little bit later as well. It's a big week, by the way. This is LeBron week.
Yes, it is. LeBron week. We have awards tonight and LeBron's decision by Friday. So there you go.
From the beaches of L.A. to Houston. From Boston to the Bay. And to Cleveland. This is LeBron Watch.
So again, he has to decide by Friday.
By Friday, whether he's going to opt out of his deal. We're going to talk to Max Bretos.
Yes.
About the World Cup.
Maximilian.
We've had some standings changes.
There have been some movement in our World Cup fantasy draft.
We got a lot of news about that.
And Mavs GM Donnie Nelson will also join us to talk.
They're looking to make some moves as well. Already did on draft night, but maybe a big, and I mean that literally, and
large and huge.
As a guy they may be going after.
That's also true. So we'll get into all of that. And some other things that you might be impressed with. Because, yes, one of us won this weekend, and one of us also won today. So we'll get into that a little bit later, but we'll start, ladies and gentlemen, as we do most hours, with What's Trending. And again, the NBA's MVP will be revealed Monday night from among 3 finalists. James Harden, winner. LeBron James should have won. And Anthony Davis, really just there.
Well, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry.
Did
I interrupt you?
No, continue.
Yeah, why not? the coach of the year up there, Dwayne Casey, that would still be amazing.
Yes.
Right, if Dwayne Casey won for coaching Toronto and he's now the coach of Detroit.
Congratulations, you're fired.
Brad Stevens and Quinn Snyder. Rookie of the year would have changed had they included the postseason, because all we talked about was Ben Simmons or Donovan Mitchell.
Correct.
Simmons, Donovan Mitchell. Jason Tatum was incredible for the Celtics in the postseason, but it's not a postseason award. Remember, even though the award show is now, this is all just for the regular season, so I don't think Tatum's going to be in this one. It's going to be between Ben Simmons, who's been in the league for a year already, but is still considered a rookie, and Donovan Mitchell, who is an actual rookie.
Yeah, look, the MVP thing is interesting to me because I think it's a foregone conclusion that James Harden's going to win it. I just don't understand why LeBron isn't going to win it. I mean, look what he carried into the postseason.
Well, I think it's going to be the Michael Jordan effect, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Michael Jordan could have won way more than he won, but It was just like, okay, he's the best player, we know it. But this year, I'm kind of with you. This year especially, his 15th year, he played all 82 games and what he was able to do. But again, that's just a regular season, and he had a monster postseason, but you have to keep that out of it as well. Most improved, looks like people are leaning toward Victor Oladipo for that. Defensive player of the year, be between Anthony Davis, Rudy Gobert. I believe Embiid's in there as well. So we'll see. Fun award show. I do like when the leagues do this. Hockey did it last week. Again, basketball doing it tonight, get their chance, their night out. The NFL does it as well. So I do think it's a cool thing, even though it's way after the regular season. You kind of got to go back and go, oh yeah, this is for the regular season, even though the last thing in our mind was the postseason.
Correct.
You can't count any of that.
It does seem like, look, the NFL awards, which is done the Saturday night before the Super Bowl. It's in the city. It's very convenient. It's easy, but it does seem like we have stretched this one out a long way.
And it's okay because the NBA, listen, they're living their life, man. Their last couple of off seasons, including obviously this one, have been incredible.
Yeah, but even if the finals went 7 games, which would have been to June 17th, I think it would have been, we're still talking over 8 days after the end of the finals.
To have your regular season award show.
It just seems a little bit. Hey, but you know what? Content.
Absolutely,
we'll take it.
And you think we'll see some decent outfits tonight out of these guys? Holy smokes!
I think that I wonder how much of it is like, okay, rookies are going to do this for the draft, and do we as veterans then one up them in the award show? So we'll see what happens as that plays out tonight. Meanwhile, the World Cup continues. Hey! So here's what's going on. 3 teams vying for Group B's 2 knockout stage berths. Spain, Portugal, and Iran are still in contention for Group B's 2 round of 16 berths in the 2018 FIFA Cup. Although you have to feel pretty strongly that those two are going to be Spain and Portugal.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So we have 4 games today. Usually we had a game at 8, 11, and 2 Eastern time. Now we have 2 games at 10 o'clock. We have Uruguay and Russia. Both teams are already moved on. You have Saudi Arabia and Egypt. Both those games are at 10 o'clock. Both those teams, by the way, Saudi Arabia and Egypt, are out.
Yes.
And then at 2 o'clock, you have Iran against Portugal and then Spain against Morocco. Our standings at this point, man, did they take a switch?
Bring it, baby.
You had more than just a golf monster weekend.
Yeah.
You had a great World Cup weekend as well.
10 points. 10 points I picked up.
Big points. As of now, in our snake draft that we had, again, there are 4 teams. Trey has a team, I have a team, Mike and Devin are together, and the staff are together. Wingo leads with 26 points. Junior and Devin have 25. I have 21, and the staff has 19. Again, 3 points for a win, 1 point for a tie. And at this point, as far as in and out, as we move forward, as far as out, I've lost 3 teams. Costa Rica, Morocco, and Poland.
Poland was a shocker.
That was
one of your top 3 picks.
Yep, so they're out. Mike lost 2 teams, Egypt and Panama. The staff lost Peru and Tunisia. You lost just 1 team in Saudi Arabia. As far as advanced already, I do have 3 teams that advanced, Uruguay, France, and Belgium. Mike has Croatia. Trey, you have England, and the staff has Russia as far as already advanced. So it's pretty close. While you jumped into first place, man, it's pretty close competition.
It is. Mexico looks like they're in really good shape to advance. They've already got 6 points, but they haven't officially advanced yet. Spain looks like they're going to advance. They're playing again Morocco. I like their chances for 3 points today on that one.
I'd love Morocco to pull out a tie and give me a point out of this one, even though they're out. Give me something here. How about what England did, though, to Panama? Holy smokes.
They took out decades of World Cup frustration in that 6-1 win. A big part of that was Harry Kane. He got the hat trick. Harry Kane was definitely in the zone, brought to you by AutoZone. Get in the zone, AutoZone. And the way he got the hat trick was bizarre. He had two penalty kicks for 2 of his goals. And then his last goal, I'm not sure if he even meant to do it. If he did mean to do it, it's one of the greatest things I've ever seen. Because he's just strolling along in front of the box, somebody takes a shot, it goes off his heel. And redirects, and the
hey, congratulations.
Yeah, exactly. The Panamanian goalie, like, really?
Yeah.
Really? He started
Congrats on your
he's
hat
like,
trick.
really? How does that happen?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
And of course, he's got to say meant to do that.
Of course.
It's like that bank shot in
well,
billiards.
I saw my mate doing this, and I went put back my little heel.
Put my boot up.
Exactly.
God, we're idiots.
Harry Kane continues to dominate the World Cup much in the same way Cristiano Ronaldo continues to dominate the World Cup. And we continue with Major League Baseball teams are going to play their 81st game this week, marking the official halfway point of the season. So you look at the standings right now, and again, what's going on in baseball, you have what is going to play out because of what happened over the Yankees over the weekend. They lost 3 straight to Tampa Bay, including a 7-6 loss in the 12th inning in a walk-off situation on Sunday. Chris Sale had a big game for the Red Sox, so we're looking. They're in a virtual tie right now. The Yankees and the Red Sox are for first place in the AL East. And again, Mike, the Red Sox have played 4 more games. They have 2 more wins and 2 more losses, so that's why it's essentially a wash and it's a first-place tie. I'm telling you, man, one of these teams has got to make a move at the trade deadline because if they don't, one of these teams that's going to win well over 100 games is going to be in a 1-game playoff to keep their season going.
That's fine. I'm not going to lose my mind about that because, it doesn't happen every year. And it's going to happen this year, and everybody's going to go, oh, come on, this should be a series. It shouldn't be 1 game. It's fine. It's going to happen this year, but we're all going to live. As far as checking in at the halfway point, too, about possibly the biggest free agent ever. At least we've been talking that way, right? Stanton had signed for the most money at $325 million.
Right.
Everybody talking about Bryce Harper. He's going to get a $400 million deal. Could he get a $500 million deal? Well, I tell you what, he is not playing some good ball.
Yeah.
He did hit 3 doubles yesterday. I believe it was 3 doubles yesterday. But that raised his batting average to 219.
That's unbelievable.
219. In June, he has the second lowest batting average in the league at 181. Entering the season, his batting average on balls in play was 323 for his career. This season, he's 103 points below that. He is not playing well and not hitting well. The power numbers are up there.
Right.
And, he's always been very good there, but, the actual all those other numbers associated with hitting, not there at all.
But if you're seriously thinking about entertaining Bryce Harper in the free agency offseason, you have to look at this as an aberration, right? I mean, everything he's done in his career up to this point has been phenomenal. I mean, it's not Mike Trout-ish, but it's pretty damn close. So how much do you say, look, okay, there's a lot probably weighing on his mind. We'll see what's going on here. Yes, I mean, this has to be an aberration because everything else we've seen from Bryce Harper over his career has proven that he's going to be a superstar.
Oh,
right?
Well, yeah, absolutely right. And the other big possibility, a big free agent, Manny Machado, started the season off fantastic in Baltimore, has not been in April. He was hitting 361, 9 home runs through the end of April. Since then, he's been hitting 266. And he switched from third to short, and it has not been going well in the field as well at shortstop for him. So 2 of the big-time free agents that are out there, listen, they're still going to get their big money. But we were looking at that record amount for Bryce Harper. You wonder if that's still going to be there or not.
Are the Yankees in play for Bryce Harper?
Well,
then that record
Yankees
money is probably still in play.
They're only 7th in the payroll this year. They're way down low.
They got to pay all those guys coming up.
Yeah, they do.
It'll be very interesting. By the way, one thing that's tough for the Yankees, Gary Sanchez likely headed to the disabled list, their catcher, with a right groin / hip abductor.
Saw running to first base. You saw him kind of check up on that one, going to get an MRI. Could miss. Obviously, he's going to miss some time there.
Manager Aaron Boone says it's probably going to be a DL situation. And we got another situation, Mike, going on with Julian Edelman, and it's interesting. According to our Dan Graziano, the NFL is going to hear Edelman's appeal of his 4-game suspension today. ESPN reported earlier that the Patriots receiver is facing a 4-game suspension for violating the league's performance-enhancing drug policy. There's a couple of things to get in here, too, Mike, as we sort of segue out of what's trending into this actual discussion. One, the appeal that he's basing it on is basically the Ryan Braun defense, right?
Right.
A tainted sample.
Yeah, he said that there was, during this investigation, they're saying that things came up that the NFL did not go through the process properly and mishandled it. So that's going to be brought up. And it's also going to be brought up as, again, this is the one I find hard to believe. He tested positive for an unknown substance. So here, you're suspended 4 games because you tested positive. What did I test positive for? Well, we don't know. So that seems very interesting to me. I know in the Twitter world, you get a lot of answers. Well, if it's something that's elevated, well, then what's something that was elevated? Give me something here.
Yeah.
So those are the 2 things that he's going to be vigorously defending today. Now, we have seen some vigorous defenses in the past, a.k.a. Ryan Braun and Rafi Palmeiro, who's pointing at Congress about never taking steroids. And so some of those have backfired a little bit on people. Julian Edelman's going to go down this road. That will be heard today, so we'll see what happens with that.
Again, we'll get into that a little bit later because there's a lot of layers to that, and we'll have that discussion in just a minute. But I think it's time that we have the big reveal. Golic and Wingo Leadership Retreat. Again, thanks to Pinehurst for everything that they did, and the guys that won they were awesome. All the kids that came in and played
they were fantastic. The groups that came in, and listen, congratulations to you. You won. You won by 2 points.
Championship.
Yep. You won by 2 points. I was in second. Stugatz's group was in third, and Mike's group had fun.
Yeah. let's just say the biggest thing that Junior did on Saturday was he made a putt with his Happy Gilmore
hockey stick putter.
Hockey stick putter, which was great. But that was the second best thing he did Saturday, actually making it to his tee time Saturday morning.
It was a struggle for him.
The boy ran hard.
He did.
The boy ran hard over the weekend.
Yeah, he absolutely did. He went out with a lot of winners on. We left that to him.
Yes.
On Friday night. You went out for a little bit.
I went out and then I looked at my watch and I saw where the weekend was going and said, "Hey guys, have a great evening."
I didn't make it out, and we had a beautiful dinner and the awards dinner.
At the Carolina Inn, it was awesome.
But then everybody went out after that. Probably one of the reasons I did it because on the first hole we weren't even to the green yet. We were on our approach shot. And there was the beer cart, and I ordered 16 beers.
Well, so you were thinking of others.
We weren't even on the first green, and I had a 16-beer order in, and that's kind of how the day went.
Now, see, Mike, when they said you needed to hydrate and drink lots of liquids because it was hot and muggy, that's not what they meant.
That was the wrong liquid,
That is not exactly the way they meant. So I have to ask you, as a guy, you're an occasional golfer.
I'm a 5-6 times a year, mostly in charity events. Yes.
I'm a 5-6 times a week golfer, which is really sad and embarrassing on some levels. But for a guy that didn't play a lot, what did you think of the course, Pinehurst number 2?
All that was built up that I'd heard about it lived up and more. Yeah. It's just beautiful. Yeah. I mean, it is, and everybody there is just fantastic. I mean, you get treated so, and I mean, we won a contest and Pinehurst invited us down there and stuff, so they were very nice to us. But everybody, people that weren't associated with our trip, you just saw how they were being treated. It was fantastic.
Yeah, and
and the golf course is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's so unique because for those that haven't been or haven't or don't really understand how number 2 is completely different. About 5 years ago, maybe even more than that, 6 or 7 now, they basically got rid of all the rough. So you have the fairway, and they used to have the rough on either side of the fairway. Well, now that's all what it used to be when the course was created by Donald Ross. That's all natural sand, because those are called the sand hills of North Carolina. Right. So there's a bunch of sand there, and they just put in some natural vegetation. So it looks completely different than any other golf course you would play.
Yes, it does.
And then when your ball misses the fairway, you basically have a 50-50 shot.
Exactly.
Of either completely screwed or have a chance to play it out of there. And it frames the course so differently. And the greens are always the big thing at Pinehurst number 2. They're like upside-down teacups, basically.
Unreal.
Yeah.
I mean, really.
To hold a green there is almost impossible.
And the one thing I actually did pretty well is I putted with the speed pretty well, and it lost a few
You
putts,
made
certainly.
an eagle.
I did.
On the 10th hole was a par 5. I was playing behind you guys, and we heard this great roar. You go nuts. I'm like, we finally probably made a birdie.
Yeah.
So I come up behind you, and I sunk a 40-footer for birdie, and we start screaming, yeah! And you turned around and goes, that was for eagle for me, and I was crestfallen.
And mine was twice as far.
It was.
Listen, it was a shot, 3 shots. I smoked the drive. Yeah. I was a par 5, 10th hole. But it went into the stuff a little bit right off the left side of the fairway.
Yeah.
And then I smoked the shot out of the stuff, put it right at the beginning, right at the front of the green. Basically, I couldn't see the hole just because you said it. And so the caddies, by the way, Mark, my caddy, was phenomenal. All of them were just incredible.
Fred, Eric,
giving
Joe,
me the
Thomas.
read. I hit this putt and I stood there, so I saw it go up the crest and then just roll. And I saw everybody going, go, and I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And then they started going nuts. I'm like, oh my God, I just got an eagle on Pinehurst too.
It's unbelievable that you don't ever play golf and you make an eagle on a par 5 at Pinehurst number 2.
But I'm going to tell you my greatest win.
Yeah.
As I was walking to my caddy and I were walking to the first tee, and I saw all the winners there and all you guys there, and I didn't see any golf carts.
Yeah.
And I was probably 40 yards from the first tee, and I saw that, and I said, Mark, are we walking? And he looked at me and said, yeah. I said, hell no. I said, I want to ride. He's like, you want to ride? I'm like, yeah. He goes, okay, I'll go get the golf cart. So we had 4 groups out there, 4 foursomes, and 2 golf carts. I was in one. My son was in the other one.
The only guys that took carts are the former professional athletes. Can you believe that?
Yes, I can.
John, our producer who's here with us today, you're a big golfer, right?
That's right.
Yeah. If you're going to walk a course with a caddy, number 2 at Pinehurst is the absolute one you should walk, correct?
I mean, here's the thing. I know that you won the championship,
yeah,
but the 16 beer order on the first screen,
yeah,
and saying, I need a golf cart. I'm not going to walk this course. Golic, he won my championship.
Oh, man,
I didn't win at golf, but I won at all the extracurriculars.
You won at life.
Yeah.
You won at life.
Yeah. But it really does. There are no golf carts on 2. You said there's 9 courses there.
Yeah.
All the other ones you
Absolutely.
can use a cart.
Yeah.
And I started saying to Mark, I'm like, Mark, there's no, and he says, no, people rarely, if ever, use a golf cart. I'm like, I don't feel guilty at all. I'm good.
You guys, come on. You got to get the full experience.
I did. I was full after the experience.
16, you were full. There's no question about it. I was full of it for another reason.
You
Actually,
won.
I'm just full of it.
Congratulations to you.
So 1 by 2, very excited about that, and we'll get into a little bit more about what happened as we continue on the show today. But again, another thing that's going to be discussed, another Patriot is facing off against the NFL's front office. Will he be, Julian Edelman, a little more victorious than Tom Brady was in his attempt to avoid a 4-game suspension? Does he have a case? We'll get to that, Mike.
Is your home an ADT home? If not, you have to get ADT and help protect against break-ins, fire, and carbon monoxide. For a limited time, get ADT's lowest rate starting at just $28.99 a month from the most trusted name in home security. Go to ADT.com/podcast to take advantage of ADT's lowest rate.
With 36-month monitoring contract, early termination and installation fees apply. Excludes taxes and fees. Applies to traditional services only. Certain markets excluded. Licenses available at ADT.com.
Hey everyone, Mike Golic here. Support for the Golic Wingo podcast comes from our friends at Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Chances are you're confident when it comes to your work, your hobbies, your life. Rocket Mortgage gives you that same level of confidence when it comes to buying a home or refinancing your existing home loan. Rocket Mortgage is simple, allowing you to fully understand all the details and be confident you're getting the right mortgage for you. To get started, go to rocketmortgage.com/Mikes. Equal housing lender, licensed in all 50 states, NMLS, consumeraccess.org number 3030.
And that's how it got started. I mean, that was it. That was it.
Literally,
That conversation on April 13th between Stu Gatz, you and me is how the whole leadership retreat was spawned.
It's amazing how it also, obviously, thanks to ESPN for, footing the bill.
Yeah, thanks to ESPN.
Pinehurst for they were incredible. Down there. And again, congrats to you. You won. And by the way, we played Pinehurst 2 on Friday. Saturday morning, we played the Cradle, which is a fun 9-hole par 3 course, which is a perfect hangover course. The perfect hangover course because there wasn't one hole longer than, I think, 119 yards or something like that.
The longest hole was 130 yards.
Yeah, and the shortest was like 48 or something. It was awesome.
It's very cool. And if you haven't been there, I think it just opened in September. So a lot of people that have been to Pinehurst a bunch and played it, I'm telling you, the Cradle is this great little addition because you have 9 full-length courses now. They just took over 9 last year, which used to be called National. It's a Jack Nicklaus course. So Pinehurst number 9 is that course now. But that Cradle course,
it's cool.
It was awesome.
Well, it was awesome. It was only 9 holes, so I didn't need a golf cart for that one.
You actually walked that one.
I did
you
walk
made it
that
790 yards.
There was one what we call a comfort stand. What
pine cone.
It's a pine cone.
Is what they called it.
Phenomenal. It has all the alcohol in it, and within the 9-hole course, you can pass it 3 times.
Yes,
which is just fantastic.
It's like they knew what they were doing.
Exactly.
It's like they knew what we would be doing when we came down there. So if you haven't been to Pinehurst since last September, go down. Make sure you play the Cradle.
Yep.
It was a really, really fun way to wrap up the weekend. Okay, so that's the fun way to wrap up the weekend. Julian Edelman of the Patriots is trying to do something different on a Monday and hopefully have a fun way to get out of a 4-game suspension. And, Mike, this is interesting. Again, our Dan Graziano reporting. that he is appealing his 4-game suspension today. The 4-game suspension appeal will be heard. But there's a lot of questions about this, including he was tested for something or found positive for something they didn't know existed. So my question is, how does that happen? How do you find something that you're not looking for?
I'm befuddled by this, and I would really love some explanation. But we know when we're talking about, PEDs and suspensions, not a lot of it is going to go public, even though we certainly find out a lot about it. Yeah. But again, the Monday Morning Quarterback reported this is back ago, a few days later after he was tested positive. The substance for which Edelman tested positive wasn't one of the league's drug testers recognized. I'm just. So you can sit there and say something was elevated. So what was elevated? I mean, I know if testosterone is high, that triggers a positive. But that's something. But at least that's something you can tangibly tell me.
Yeah,
I don't know what this is. The league's drug testers did not recognize.
So the question then becomes, as we get into Straight Talk here, brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless, best phones, best networks, no contracts. I have to believe something was elevated that led them to look for something else, and then they found something that they weren't aware of.
That's
the only thing that makes sense, right?
That's still what we're waiting to hear. And again, normally, in all honesty, we shouldn't hear it, right? Yeah. It's supposed to be very private, but we know how some of these things get out. But just when you hear a line like that he tested positive for something the drug testers didn't recognize, I'm sorry, my antenna goes up, but I'm sure there's more to it than that. And then
there's the other part of
this.
The
other part, it involves mishandling of the documentation and delivery of Edelman's test results.
Now listen, I'm going to tell you something. If that happened, if they didn't follow procedure, if I'm Edelman, I'm all in on this.
Well, yeah.
I'm all in on this.
They're saying during the course of the investigation, it was learned that the NFL made mistakes in the manner in which the test results were handled. Edelman is arguing that the mishandling of the evidence is one of the reasons he should be exonerated.
Okay, so there's a couple of things to get into there. First of all and foremost, if that sounds familiar to you, that's what we're calling the Ryan Braun defense.
Exactly right.
Major League Baseball, the Milwaukee Brewers player. Yep. Who was trying to avoid a 50-game suspension.
Right.
I mean, and I don't know if anybody ever went hard in and denying this any more than Ryan Braun.
And he
did.
Went on the collector.
I mean, I think he got that guy fired.
I mean,
right?
Absolutely, positively went in on that guy.
And then it didn't hold.
No, it did not. No, it did not.
I mean, eventually he copped to it. And he's still playing. He's making $19 million.
All right. That's the thing. You serve the penalty, and then you're allowed to play after that. That's the way it works.
So the question then becomes, do we think this is going to be successful? Because what we've seen from the NFL, Mike, is that the commissioner has broad latitude on a bunch of this stuff. Now, this is not so much a personal conduct issue or anything like that.
Exactly.
There are policies that are in place. But if for some reason procedures were not done correctly, I think he has a good chance.
Oh, I think he absolutely has a good chance. I mean, even you would think even the NFL is going to recognize, okay, if the procedure was wrong, we put procedures in place for a reason. If they were in fact wrong, then either the suspension has to go away or it has to go down in games. Right now, he would be on the hook for losing, I think, about $470,000.
And he's 32 years old, Mike, as a wide receiver coming off an ACL.
You
have to wonder how much longer can he play.
So he's going to fight this vigorously on those two things. Basically, the one that the drug testers didn't even recognize what he tested positive for, but there was something off in the test, and then two, the handling of the sample there. So. We'll see. Yeah. I mean, you have time because even if he were suspended, if he came out and he was suspended, he can participate. Well, he did participate in all the OTAs and mini camps, everything. Even if the suspension is upheld, he can be at training camp. He can play in every preseason game, and then once the season starts, then he can't be around.
Of course, I'm curious, considering it was a preseason game in Detroit last year that ended his
2017
season, how much he would actually want to do that. But there's another part of this. This is just another layer in what has been a very unsettling offseason for the New England Patriots.
Yes, it is.
I mean, normally we're talking about the Patriots, and for many reasons, they still are the gold standard of franchises in the NFL in terms of how you consistently win. There being one consistent voice from the organization, that is head coach Bill Belichick. Well, you had Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski missing voluntary OTAs for the first time ever in Brady's case. And, of course, he said this offseason when he was asked at Jim Gray at one of his leadership conferences, not as good as ours, we should point out, where if he felt respected by the organization, he says, I plead the fifth.
Mm-hmm.
it's just been a weird offseason for New England on a lot of levels, right?
Yeah, it has. So now you wonder, how far does this group stay together? And that would be really Belichick, Brady, and Gronk. And how long they go, because we went through the whole Brady thing of retirement. Is he going to retire? Is he not going to retire? When he was talking to Oprah.
Right.
And
retirement's closer than people think.
Then he threw out in Spanish the
45,
number 45 again, that he wants to play till he's 45 years old. I personally think he'll have 2 more years where he's 2 more years. I say like more at the
where
top of his game. Gronk, I have no idea. I mean, maybe Gronk after this year, he's got 2 more years. Gronk, I think 8 this year and like 9 next year, something like that. He was looking, I think, also for an extension. Now, we see you can do stuff as far as for the ancillary things like not on your salary.
Endorsements and stuff?
No, not endorsements, but performance bonuses, those kind of things.
I was trying to help you.
I know.
I saw the blank stare.
It wasn't coming
the
to
eyes
me.
were going. I'm like, I'm trying to help you, man. Help me, help you.
Not redoing the contract by compensation by salary. By performances and adding it that way. So, that's something that possibly may happen in Atlanta with Julio Jones,
right,
who's looking for a new deal as well instead of redoing the entire deal. So we'll see. But it has been, and yet every time we do this with the Patriots, there they are.
Yeah.
There they are.
So here's my question for you then, going forward. Do you think any of this stuff translates into on the field issues?
No, because I think these guys do such a good job of when they get to the facility, they're so focused on the task at hand, and I think that's a credit not only obviously to Bill Belichick for creating that standard, but for those players, especially the main players, accepting that standard and saying, okay, whatever we've done, whatever has gone on outside this building, once we come into this building for the start of the season, then we know what our focus is. Because, listen, players have pride. They still want to be the best. Brady wants to be the best quarterback. Gronk wants to be the best tight end. Belichick and everybody, they all want to have the best team out there. It's not like you go in there and show up and say, you know what, don't really care what happens. Don't really care if I play well. Everybody has personal pride on that, and it's been instilled by Belichick the way he runs his show. So you go in there and you're, okay, we're in the season now. This is what we do. So no, I don't expect this to start bleeding over and say, oh no, their season's in trouble because of this.
Well, look, this is how important Edelman is to the New England Patriots. He has 390 catches from Tom Brady. That's third most ever, and who Brady has thrown to, trailing only Wes Welker with 563 and Gronk with 469. And you know what? They won their last Super Bowl without Rob Gronkowski when he was injured when they came back from 28-3 against the Falcons. But they didn't win this past Super Bowl when they didn't have Julian Edelman. People make fun of the glue guy.
Yeah.
He's the glue guy.
He's the
chain mover. He's the tone setter.
He's the 3rd and 5, 6-yard catch guy. Yeah. That's what he does.
And he's been that way his entire career. Again, we'll see what happens going forward. And we'll see if this suspension is reduced. Again, the hearing of the appeal is today. Meanwhile,
I want winners. I want people that want to win.
To give batters a different look, pitchers throw a changeup.
Your idea of a different look is sunglasses.
That's true. But La Quinta Inns and Suites is really taking the different look thing to a new level.
Definitely a major league makeover, starting with a bolder, brighter lobby full of comfortable spaces to let you settle in.
Or chill out in front of a big flat screen like Wingo would.
Oh, you know it. It's a changing La Quinta look to help you get in the zone and look sharp when you hit that big meeting.
Prepare to win at business with La Quinta Inns and Suites.
Book now at LQ.com. All right, just this past segment, we did our Twitter results of who won the weekend, and one of the things that came up was Tony Cruz's game-winning goal against Germany. Tell you a little story, because we were flying back Saturday from our leadership retreat. I connected through Philadelphia. So I walk into the lounge, because I have some little time between, and I sit down, and I look over to my left, I'm like, holy crap, I can't believe that's who that is. I'm not a guy that's starstruck very often, but this guy, I've been a fan of his work forever. It was John Lithgow.
Oh, really?
The actor, yeah.
Yes.
Third Rock from the Sun, so many great movies in his career, and I was like, So finally I had to say, he was all in on this World Cup thing. He was watching the game between Germany and Sweden. It was fantastic. So I finally had to go up and say, hey, just fan of your work, blah, blah. Nice, could have been a nicer guy. But, John Lithgow, I don't get starstruck much, but that guy was pretty cool.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Am I Wasn't he Winston Churchill in The Crown?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm watching The Crown.
Are you watching The Crown right now?
Yeah, I have. I'm caught up. Yes.
It's good, right?
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
He is a great Churchill, too.
Yeah, it was great. So it's just really cool. And he was so into the World Cup
cool.
match.
Oh, that's very neat.
It was very, very cool. So again, those were the people that were the winners.
I want winners. I want people that want to win.
So everybody won this weekend.
Yeah.
I won the Leadership Retreat,
Yes,
which
you
was
did.
great. By the way, my trophy did not make it back in transit, but that's okay. We're putting it back together, and then we're going to have it on the set.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? You also won, my friend. Congratulations.
Thanks. I appreciate
it. This is the fourth Hall of Fame that you are now a part of. The National Radio Hall of Fame announces its 2018 inductees. Mike Golic and Mike Greenberg from ESPN are going in to the National Radio Hall of Fame. Congratulations,
Thanks,
brother.
man. Thanks. I appreciate it.
This is your fourth Hall of Fame.
Well, I mean, high school
counts.
Hall of
counts.
Fame, the National Wrestling Hall of Fame,
counts,
but not as a wrestler.
No, that's a great human being.
American, whatever.
Yeah. That's it's like you get a doctorate degree.
And the NAB Hall of Fame, Greeny and I went in. What was it? Last April.
Yes.
And then this is National Radio Hall of Fame. It's coming out today. We're in for the category of active network and syndication of more than 10 years.
Yeah.
Which we're about
18. Yeah.
18 years. So November 15th, we go in with Jonathan Brandmeier is in for active local 10 years. Jim Kerr for local regional 20 plus years. Yeah, but others obviously going in as well. We're certainly not alone in this, but very cool.
You're the only ones I care about.
We appreciate being voted into that. So, Greeny, congrats to you as well. I mean, 18 years together and got in a couple of Hall of Fames for it, so it worked out okay. So,
yeah, I think that went well.
It was. It's pretty cool. So we'll
have
a
lot of pressure on me now.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that. A lot of pressure on me right now.
So
I'm feeling a little squeezed at the moment.
We'll hang together, Greeny and I, in New York for this in November for the induction ceremony, and that's pretty cool. So I appreciate that. Again, Greeny, congrats to you as well, and we'll hang out in November for this. So it's pretty neat. It's kind of a fun thing.
I think this explains why your name is first on the show.
I
always thought it was alphabetical.
Well, see, apparently
that's what it is.
You're going to like this, though. So as we put that one aside there, and we go to winners of the weekend.
Yeah.
Now, again, we had the poll out there that you all have answered, and on the poll is Harry Kane, Mexico, the Dodgers, and LeBron James' son. You can add your own in there, and we'll be getting plenty of those. My winner of the weekend is you.
Oh, get out of here.
Yeah, no, not for winning. Listen, you appreciate golf way more than my son and I do.
Yeah, can confirm.
And, we're at one of the legendary courses of all time at Pinehurst, too. And I know you golfed it before, but, you're with this group, and this whole thing really worked out. And you guys won.
Yeah.
Your group won, which was very cool. But that wasn't the most cool thing, I think, especially for someone like you who appreciates golf. Even I appreciated this as well. They said there's an unbelievable statue of the pose from Payne Stewart when he sinks the putt on 18.
Oh, yeah.
And they
win the U.S. Open in 1999.
After we finished playing on 18, I mean, the statue's right there. They mark where Payne knocked his putt in from.
Right.
And after the round, we all got a chance to putt. What was it, about
15 feet?
15 feet?
Yeah.
So everybody got to putt from there. And 3 guys made it. And Trey, you were one of the guys that sank the putt. I had just finished because you were the group coming up behind me, so I got to watch you do this. Nobody in our group made it. And you nailed it. Heart of the cup. Yeah. And then you threw the pose out there as well. That was very, very cool. Well, I was really happy for you. And we all, after our foursomes, all went by the statue and took pictures like Payne Stewart. The statue is fantastic.
It's perfect.
And you try and emulate it. But to see you make that putt and then throw out that stance and knowing how much you appreciate golf, that was cool.
It was
so
cool.
I'm giving you my winner of the week.
I appreciate that. By the way, thank you for not noticing that everyone watched me double bogey the 18th hole.
Well,
I was 2 over on the back. I was 2 over on the back, and I doubled it. Yeah. It was horrible, but I made up for it there. By the way, you're my winner because we told you eagled number 10.
Mm-hmm.
The last major held at Pinehurst number 2 was the 2014 U.S. Open.
Yep.
There were 22 total eagles that week. 0 on the par 5 10th hole.
Well, there you go.
So you did something that nobody on the U.S. Open was able to do. Eagle the par 5 10th hole.
I'm the greatest golfer of all time.
That being said, we probably played it 100 yards shorter than they did, but still, none of them were able to eagle it. NBA awards are tonight. Will Ben Simmons or Donovan Mitchell be voted Rookie of the Year? Plus, a former Spur speaks out. Kawhi, stay with us.
Next. You're holding up the line, ma'am.
What did you say?
You're next in line for the water slide, ma'am. Feet forward and enjoy the ride.
Okay, dearie, this does look fun. Whee! You melted me. I've melted.
The Wicked Witch of the West on a water slide? Surprising. What's not surprising? How much you could save by switching to Geico.
See what you've done. Oh!
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15%.
Is your home an ADT home? If not, listen up, gang. You need to get ADT to help protect against break-ins, fire, and even carbon monoxide. And now, for a limited time, get ADT's lowest rate, starting at just $28.99 a month from the most trusted name in home security. That's just $1 a day. You spend way more than $1 on your morning coffee. ADT is the first security company to help keep you safe at home and when you're on the go with the new ADT Go app. ADT Go has some great features like family locator, private messaging, automatic check-ins, and safe driving reports. It even includes an SOS button with 24/7 emergency response. And if you need more of a reason to buy, you get ADT Go with a purchase of any security system. Seriously, guys, it's a great deal. Protect yourself and your family right now. Go to ADT.com/podcast to take advantage of ADT's lowest rate. ADT, tested, trusted, proven with 36-month monitoring contract. Early termination and installation fees apply. Excludes taxes and fees. Applies to traditional services only. Certain markets excluded. Licenses available at ADT.com. To give batters a different look, pitchers throw a changeup.
Your idea of a different look is sunglasses.
That's true. But La Quinta Inns and Suites is really taking the different look thing to a new level.
Definitely a major league makeover, starting with a bolder, brighter lobby full of comfortable spaces to let you settle in.
Or chill out in front of a big flat screen like Wingo would.
Oh, you know it. It's a changing La Quinta look to help you get in the zone and look sharp when you hit that big meeting.
Prepare to win at business with La Quinta Inns and Suites.
Book now at LQ.com. Glad you're with us. Golic and Wingo on ESPN Radio and ESPN News. We are presented by Progressive Insurance. All phone guests join us on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Mike Golic, Trey Wingo here with you. Coming off a pretty good weekend for a lot of people. Cruz from Germany, Harry Kane, you and I for the Leadership Retreat.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
There was a lot going on there. By the way, I have to call out one of our colleagues.
Who's that?
Seth Greenberg. The coach.
Yeah.
Former our college basketball analyst. While we were enjoying our lovely time in Pinehurst, my home club had their member guest, their big 3-day member guest event,
right.
which is just, I mean, it's a 3-day Bacchanalia fest. Let's be clear.
Are you bummed you missed that?
No, I'm happy to be away for those 3 days because it gets a little crazy.
Right.
But apparently our guy Seth Greenberg won his flight. And when you win the flight, one of the responsibilities you have is to pick up drinks for everybody else in your flight.
Oh, okay, cool.
And he bailed without doing it.
What do you mean he bailed?
He bailed. I was told by several people that at the club that he did not handle his responsibilities.
Really?
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed.
He obviously can't be invited back, correct?
No, he's done. We're thinking about kicking him out of the club, actually.
Wow.
Yeah, his membership is on a tenuous status.
That's
right now.
Grounds for a boot, yes.
Yeah, so Seth, do what you got to do, man. If you're going to leave, make sure you leave your number.
Credit card.
Leave your credit card or your number
or
so
a
we
few
can
Hunskies.
Exactly. Take care of your people.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. And I was told to do that. So
that's disappointing. When next year, member guest?
Yeah.
Me and you?
Yeah. You want to play?
No.
Okay, just checking. You know what? The important thing is we've established the parameters.
There you go.
And we are
maybe I'll
on.
play now.
Yeah.
You know, after
you
Eagle,
you did something that no pro did at Pinehurst #2 at the 10th hole of the U.S. Open.
You know, just another hole of the course. All it is to me.
I can't tell you how much that aggravates me. That you did something. First of all, you beat me. I thought I'd made a great birdie.
Yeah.
And then
you made a 40-foot birdie putt on number 10 at Pinehurst 2.
Yeah.
I made an 85-foot eagle putt right before you made your 40-foot birdie putt. So
good for you.
Yeah.
I'm so happy for you, Mike.
Yeah, whatever.
Not only that, then you're in another Hall of Fame. Fine, I'm having some issues. I'll get over it. All right, let's start with what's trending. And we start with the NBA's MVP award going to be revealed tonight among all the awards going forward. It's their award show. The 3 finalists are James Harden, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis. I think it's pretty clear James Harden is going to win. And I think from my perspective, Mike, it's pretty clear that LeBron James should win.
Yeah, I mean, listen, again, remember, it's a regular season award, so you have to kind of block out the postseason, even though these award shows are after the last thing you've seen is the postseason. And I completely believe LeBron it's the Michael Jordan effect, where he's the best player. I mean, nobody's going to deny the fact that LeBron James is the best player in the world. Harden had himself a fantastic year, runner-up last year to Russell Westbrook when he averaged that triple-double first time since the Big O.
Which he did again this year. We were over it.
And we were over it. I've been there, done that. So I agree. I think Harden is going to win it because, remember, the votes had already been in as well. This isn't something that they waited to vote on either, so all before the postseason. So I agree with you. Coach of the Year, to see Dwayne Casey's up for it. Dwayne Casey, Brad Stevens, and Quinn Snyder. Dwayne Casey, be unbelievable if he won that thing. He should wear a Detroit Pistons hat.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing there is this makes all the sense in the world because he was fired from the Raptors,
right?
Yeah. And then he won the coaches award,
vote, right?
And then who tweeted him congratulations? The Raptors. They said congratulations, coach, after they had fired him.
It's amazing.
So it makes all the sense in the world that he's probably going to win this one as well.
One of the big battles is Rookie of the Year. Ben Simmons, Donovan Mitchell, and Jason Tatum are up for it. Now Tatum had a monster playoffs, but again, forget that as far as this award is concerned. It's just regular season award. So between Ben Simmons really and Donovan Mitchell on this, and Ben Stevens, of course, has already been in the league a year but didn't play, so he's still considered a rookie. And that point was brought up by Donovan Mitchell.
Yep.
And when they were
more than one occasion,
a little fun back and forth there. So we'll see. One thing I think these guys aren't only the best athletes in the world, but they're the. You want to say best dressed or dressed most provocatively or they show their fashion statements the most?
I think
Maybe
they
that's
like to be very fashion forward.
This is probably, of all the sports award shows, this would be the best red carpet.
Correct.
In what they're wearing. You know you'll see some shorts out there with the sport coats, with the suits. And
who was it that had the shorts? Was it Trae Young?
It was Trae Young.
It was Trae Young that had
during
it
the draft. Yes, exactly right.
See what LeBron? Look what you've started.
Some of the stuff
you've started.
Going to be incredible tonight on the red carpet.
But
without a doubt.
You're all in on the short suit thing.
I could never do it. I mean, I think it's very.
I don't know, dude. Your legs are pretty solid. After 2 days in Pioneers, your legs are pretty solid, even though you're soft.
I don't have the rest of the body to go with it. These guys
you just need the legs.
These guys are like hangers, though. The way they look at clothes.
You just need the legs. You don't need everything. It's not showing anything else.
You know, couldn't do it. Saquon Barkley. The legs are too big.
Holy moly! By the way, have you seen him in the ESPN body issue?
Yeah.
Body
issue coming out.
His muscles have muscles.
We got to talk about that. I saw a big spread on that.
Yeah.
Good
choice of words there, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
Well, it's like you're a Hall of Fame broadcaster or something.
Okay, yeah. I'm taking that away. That'll be gone.
Well, the Cubs were swept by the last-place Cincinnati Reds after an 8-6 loss on Sunday. The Cubs were outscored 31-13 in the 4 games, and what made matters worse on Sunday is the Cubs were up 5-0.
Yeah, 5-0. They're 2 back in Milwaukee in the Centrals. We're right about, from a game standpoint, getting in the area of that 81st game, getting the area of the halfway mark. So they're halfway back after getting swept by the Reds. And the Reds, who have won now 7 in a row, still find themselves, 13 games out?
And 13 games under 500.
Yeah, horrific beginning of the season for them. But the Cubs had a tough weekend. Just like the Yankees, leading their division, had a tough weekend, getting swept by the Rays after beating the Mariners. So, we're getting right around that spot. You kind of look and see, okay, who's hanging, and now we're going to have in the next fun over the next month when all the trade rumors start, who's buying and who's selling.
Well, it's going to be really interesting because, again, with the Yankees now with Gary Sanchez on the DL, they're going to need to find some pitching some way, somehow. If they're going to, because again, right now it looks like the Red Sox and Yankees are going to be in this thing to the end. They're basically in a virtual tie for first place in the AL East right now, and whoever doesn't win that division is going to be one of the best teams in baseball and facing a 1-game playoff to survive.
And I really don't. While we're going to talk about that, I really don't want to hear people saying let's change it.
No,
for this 1 year where it's going to happen.
Right.
Because a lot of times, I get it. And if you wanted to do the true kind of wild, with that wild card, you take the worst record as a wild card, but that could be a division winner somewhere else. So you're getting the division winners and then the next best record. I get it. So I don't want to think about changing it. I don't want to, and I know people are already tweeting in they should be doing this, doing that. This is 1 year it's happening.
Yeah,
if it happens 10 years in a row and you want to start thinking about something else, okay, but let's ease up on that one.
Yeah, that's not that. I think we can deal with one of them. There's no question about it. All right, continuing what's trending, and again, the Dodgers set a record, and my goodness, did they need to set that record?
And Turner with a fly ball to left field. It's on its way, and it is gone. A home run. Justin Turner has just given the Dodgers an 8-7 lead. The 7th home run of the day for the Dodgers.
And again, all seven, that's the call on AM 590 or 570 LA Sports, as the Dodgers set a major league record, or tied a major league record, in the modern era, going back to 1900.
1900.
with 7 solo home runs, and they needed every one of them. They won 8-7.
That's just an amazing stat. They're 2.5 out from the Diamondbacks. Giants are 5 out in that division. That was the closest division for a while, but now the Padres are, just falling further and further back, 10.5 out. I don't think anybody ever thought they were going to make any kind of run, but for a while, from top to bottom, it was somewhat of a close division. Dodgers, they were struggling mightily. Now put themselves right back in it, getting close to the Diamondbacks here. But what a big night for them. And, we start looking also at the halfway point. We start looking at the possibility of free agents. The big one out there, Bryce Harper. He's only hitting .219 this year.
That's insane.
Second worst average in June, hitting .181. Obviously, his power numbers are obviously still there. But boy, the other numbers, Manny Machado went to shortstop. It hasn't worked out there from a position standpoint. He was hot early in the season, hasn't been as much of late. Clayton Kershaw, now he can opt out of the last couple of years of his deal, 2 years and $65 million. You can opt out to try and get a big deal. His 30-year-old, maybe his last chance to maybe cash in one more time if he wants to. So starting to keep an eye on some of these free agents and potential free agents as we're halfway through the season.
And by the way, give it up for the Dodgers, who started off that horrible stretch to start the season, and they've really turned it around. They've flipped the switch. They've made the switch, and making the switch is brought to you by Pennzoil Synthetics, taking synthetic motor oil performance to a whole new level. Make the switch to Pennzoil Synthetics today. All right, as we continue here, Golic and Wingo presented by Progressive Home Insurance. Get triple action protection for optimal engine performance with Shell V-Power Nitro Plus Premium Gasoline. That is a lot to say.
Yes, it is.
And somehow I made it through that on a Monday morning.
Good job, buddy.
And now we are officially on what we call LeBron Watch now. I mean,
from the beaches of LA to Houston, from Boston to the Bay, and to Cleveland. This is LeBron Watch.
Because LeBron has until Friday.
Yes, he does.
To decide whether or not he's opting out.
Opting out like Carmelo Anthony opted in.
For $27.9 million.
27 point. And remember he was talking about it's not about the money, it's about going somewhere and playing the way I think I can play?
Please.
I mean, listen, and he's been a guy where it's been about the money. And again, there's nothing wrong with that.
No issues with that whatsoever.
Nothing wrong with that at all, but I guess in checking out the landscape, he thought his option would be better to stay there and make his $27 million. Paul George has to make that decision again this week, like LeBron, whether he's going to opt out or not, because, again, the thought of both of them opting out and going to the Lakers together, still that's the odds-on thing, or especially LeBron going to Lakers, the odds-on favorite in Vegas, because you can bet on all these wonderful
Exactly.
things.
And we'll talk with Royce Young about what's going on with Carmelo and Paul George a little bit later this morning. But the reason the LeBron Watch is interesting is because I think a lot of people are going to see what happens with Kawhi and how that may determine what happens with LeBron. Look, over the last week and a half, it's come out that LeBron. I just put them together. Kawhi,
maybe that's what they'll call them if they're teammates.
LeBron?
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah.
You're welcome. I just gave you that little information. There you have it. Kawhi has told San Antonio he wants to leave. He doesn't want to be there, and he wants to go to Los Angeles. And we saw that picture of Greg Popovich and Kawhi breaking a little bread, trying to talk things through. He obviously, and R.C. Buford, the GM of the Spurs, has said, we want Kawhi back. But not everybody in San Antonio feels that way. Bruce Bowen, who won championships with the Spurs, worked for us for a long time, went on Sirius XM radio, and does not have a lot of love for Kawhi at this point.
I think there's nothing but excuses going on. So first it was, I was misdiagnosed. Look here, you got $18 million this year, and you think that they're trying to rush you? You didn't play, for the most part, a full season this year. And you're the go-to guy. You're the franchise, and you want to say that they didn't have your best interest at heart? Are you kidding me? Not one time has Kawhi come out and said anything to the effect of, you know what, hey, I really enjoy being in San Antonio, or I can't stand what's going on here in San Antonio. Not one time has he said anything.
So there's a couple of things to get in there.
Yeah. First, to me, why does Kawhi have to say anything? Kawhi has never been a public guy. Kawhi doesn't owe the public for him to stand in front of a microphone and say whether he wants to be in San Antonio or not. He owes his team that. And he let his team know he doesn't want to be there. He doesn't owe a press conference to anybody because he never has been that guy. So now why should he sit in front of a microphone and make his intentions clear when he's never done that before? So I don't have a problem with him not telling all of us all of that, as long as he talks to his team and he broke bread with, as you mentioned, with
Pop.
I don't even know if he wanted to do that. He may have done that out of respect for Pop because I think he wants to be out of there. But as long as if I hear he's not talking to the team at all or letting them know his intentions, I have more of an issue with that. But he doesn't need to be talking to anybody publicly about that if he doesn't want to.
Plus, if he started doing that now, as a former player, it would come off as disingenuous.
Absolutely.
Because the players know who he is and know his personality, and you know it in the locker rooms you were in. If a guy suddenly is doing something that is out of character for him, you're like, you're being phony right now. Why are you going down this road? But the bigger question then becomes, is he going to get what he wants? Is Kawhi, because he's made it pretty clear he wants to go to L.A. He wants to play in L.A., and obviously people are thinking Lakers more than Clippers there. Because if you're the Spurs, and we had the sound from R.C. Buford on after the draft, he's like, our intention is to try and keep him. Now, you can have him for 1 year.
Right.
So what do you want to do? If you feel like this thing isn't working, and obviously in Kawhi's mind it isn't working, do you, A, keep him for a year just to make sure he doesn't go start a super team with the Lakers, or do you try and trade him somewhere else? But anybody that you're trading with, the Kawhi camp is saying, hey, look, you can trade for him. It's a rental, one and done.
So it's on a couple of levels here. If he feels he's lost trust with the organization, that's one of the other things Brucey talked about was, thinks he was misdiagnosed.
Mm-hmm.
So remember from the side, I'm going to go off on this tangent for a moment. From the side of the player.
Tangent away, big boy.
From the side of the player, everybody's allowed a second opinion, and this is what happened here.
Correct.
And everybody should get a second opinion. I never did. I just basically said what the doctors of the team said, and but it's a different level probably with the stars. And it shouldn't be. I mean, because it's your body's your body, and you want to play with that. With your body, you want it to get the best treatment possible. But the thought of they have your best interest all the time. Now, that certainly may be the hierarchy, right?
Right.
The best player, they have it, the 10th player on the bench. So there may be, and again, it shouldn't be that way, but to sit here and say everybody gets treated equal is ridiculous.
Now, the more you can do, the longer leash you have. That's the simple fact.
The thought about it is that team doctors will work for the team, and the team wants to get the guy back out on the court or on the field or on the ice or on the pitch or whatever as fast as they can while healthy. That's always the dilemma you have with a team doctor who is getting paid by the team. And let's also understand, these team doctors, they aren't being paid millions by these teams. They aren't making a ton of money from these teams. There's certainly ancillary things they get from this, without a doubt, to say you are the team physician or orthopedic or whatever for a professional team. So for the most part, you've got to believe that they have the patient's best interest at heart. But there's a reason you can go get a second opinion, which is what Kawhi Leonard did. And that's where a lot of this started. And then when the teammates, especially a Tony Parker, speaks up and said, I had the same injury and I'm back in half the time, I think all of a sudden Kawhi's like, wait a minute, okay, is this a place that I want to be? And then as far as the choices, here's what, in my opinion, what San Antonio should do. Do what's right for you.
Correct.
Make the best business decision for you. If you, and I wasn't in that meeting, if in any way, shape, or form you think Kawhi Leonard was waning and wasn't adamant that he wanted to leave and was kind of, who knows, maybe you keep him for another year and see if you can talk him into it. No idea if that's the case. If not, if he absolutely wants out and you're like, okay, we're going to trade him, I personally, I think it's ridiculous to say we're not going to trade him to the Lakers, even if that's the best deal we can do, because we don't want to create a super team. If Kawhi Leonard is adamant and says, in 1 year, I'm going to be a Laker, why are you going to worry about it if you're San Antonio? Because if you trade him somewhere else, in a year later, he's going to be with the Lakers anyway. Yeah. So why would you blow a deal if that's the best deal you can get? Because quite honestly, what are the Celtics going to offer if unless they think they can keep him for the year? You're going to give up some of that great young talent and picks for a guy for possibly 1 year? You may roll the dice and say, once we get him here, if we can win a championship or get to the championship, maybe he'll stay here. But you're rolling the dice. Well, so how much are you willing to give up for that? So I'll circle back to the Lakers really want him. And if the Lakers offer you the best deal, take the stinking deal and be done with it.
I think that's the way they have to look at it at this point. I mean, we've had people come in here and say, why would the Spurs want to help build a super team? Because let's be honest, if Kawhi goes there, and I think that's going to be a sales pitch for LeBron,
sure,
to go to the Lakers as well. But you're right, Mike. At some point, if it appears, and I don't know if we're 100% there yet, but it certainly looks like this is a relationship that can't be saved.
Right.
And if it comes to that, then the Spurs have to absolutely do what's best for them. But let me ask you this. In any way, is any of this, I mean, Bruce Bowen obviously never had the luxury of the leverage that Kawhi Leonard is having right now as a superstar player.
Right.
But does Kawhi in any way, shape, or form appear differently to you now because of the way he sort of dealt with this?
Well,
is there a different way? He was always going to be the quiet superstar that just did what he had to do and was not really a diva in any way, shape, or form. This changes the picture for him a little bit.
It absolutely does. Because basically we never heard from the guy.
Right.
We said consummate teammate. You don't hear from him. He doesn't stir anything up publicly. He just goes out and he's the best two-way player in the game and one of the best players in the league. Right?
Right.
Now all of a sudden it's like, I don't trust you guys anymore, and I only want to go to the Lakers, send me to the Lakers. Certainly that's could change your perception of him, but you know what? He doesn't care. It doesn't sound like he cares. And when you have the leverage as a player, when you have the leverage hammer, you swing it.
Yep.
You swing it as best you can to get what you want, because you know what? You're allowed to do that. The system dictates that you could do things like that, and then San Antonio has to make their decision on that. But to the perception, yes, because what was our perception of him? We never heard from the guy.
Correct.
We just saw him go play great and never say anything. And now he's demanding this or demanding that. At least that's what we're hearing. Yeah, that's going to change people's perception of him.
So again, we'll see how that plays out. But again, this is important because by Friday, LeBron has to decide whether he's staying in Cleveland or going to opt out of that contract, and what Kawhi does may have a big impact in that. A little later on in the show, we'll do something that we've been trying to do for a while. We're going to spin the wheel of LeBron.
Yes, we are.
And find out what makes the best sense for him going forward. We've got a few teams put together, and we'll debate whether or not they can make the best sales pitch or it makes the most sense. But the first domino to fall will be Kawhi Leonard, and we'll find out sooner rather than later what's going on there.
Is your home an ADT home? If not, you have to get ADT and help protect against break-ins, fire, and carbon monoxide. For a limited time, get ADT's lowest rate starting at just $28.99 a month from the most trusted name in home security. Go to ADT.com/podcast to take advantage of ADT's lowest rate.
With 36-month monitoring contract, early termination and installation fees apply. Excludes taxes and fees. Applies to traditional services only. Certain markets excluded. Licenses available at ADT.com.
Hey everyone, Mike Golic here. Support for the Golic Wingo podcast comes from our friends at Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Chances are you're confident when it comes to your work, your hobbies, your life. Rocket Mortgage gives you that same level of confidence when it comes to buying a home or refinancing your existing home loan. With Rocket Mortgage, you can apply simply and understand fully so you can mortgage confidently. To get started, go to rocketmortgage.com/Mikes. Equal housing lender, licensed in all 50 states, NMLSconsumeraccess.org number 3030.
Glad you're with us on a Monday morning. Golic and Wingo on ESPN Radio and ESPN News and the ESPN app. Can't forget the app. All our guests are joined us on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. We are presented by Progressive Insurance. Mondays are hard.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes Mondays are hard.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's going to make our Monday easier?
Who?
Our next guest.
Yes, she is.
Delighted to be joined by Jessica Mendoza of Sunday Night Baseball, played at Stanford, an Olympic gold medalist in Athens in 2004. The last time I actually saw Jessica, we were going backstage after seeing Hamilton in Chicago.
Oh, really?
Backstage, go on stage. So good memories. Jessica, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. That's a good memory to have, too.
Right?
That was an awesome night. Yes. And you just dropped that in there, too, because we were, backstage.
There you go.
Hamilton.
Well, I was saying.
Were you guys really backstage?
Well,
aren't you just important people?
Well, here's what I said. Can I go backstage because I know Jessica Mendoza? And they're like, okay, if you know Jessica
Right,
Mendoza,
totally.
you can go backstage.
Big deal. That's
right.
me, for sure.
Well, let's talk about the big deal, which is what's going on in the American League right now. You have three teams on pace for 100 wins, in the Yankees, the Red Sox, and the Astros. And it's an interesting situation, Jessica, because one of these teams, and most likely it's going to be the Red Sox or the Yankees because it looks like the Astros are pulling away from Seattle now, is going to be in a one-game playoff to keep their postseason hopes alive, which is great for drama. But if you're the Yankees or the Red Sox, how much are you now figuring out what do I need to do and maybe pick up at the trade deadline to make sure I'm not that team that has to play in that one-game playoff?
Oh, absolutely. Just because you look at the other team, and right now it looks like that could even be the Houston Astros. I mean, or the obviously Seattle Mariners. But at times, I mean, the fact that it could either be Justin Verlander or James Paxton in a one-game playoff is crazy scary. And then if you win that game, then it's probably the Astros or the other. So I mean, to me, it's looking clearly like the best teams are in the American League. And when you think about how important, which is scary because you look at the Yankees and the Red Sox specifically, two best teams in baseball, arguably, and the one that doesn't win that division is going to have to go up against probably with the defending champs or a really hot Seattle Mariners team that right now is, to me, one of the exciting teams, even though they're 4 games back of the Astros in that division. But you look at what that team can do. I mean, you have to go and get somebody at the trade deadline, even if both of those teams, the Red Sox and Yankees, don't really need a lot of parts.
But do the Yankees need a pitcher? Do they have to go out and get a starting pitcher? And if so, how much can they give up of that young talent to get it?
Well, they got a lot of young talent, absolutely. I mean, I would be floored if they don't get a starting pitcher. I mean, that's the one part. They got a great bullpen. We could talk days about their offense, the depth, and they have so many guys coming up. So it's not, I think everyone's like, gosh, they're not going to give up Andujar or Torres. We've seen the young talent they have on the team. No, there's prospects that are down there. There's pitching prospects. I mean, that's what's scary about this Yankee team is they're not even fully reloaded yet. So, yes, they will go out and get a starting pitcher. Now, there's not a ton out there to go and get, and that's what we're seeing. But to me, like, you look at this rotation, and this is literally a team that, and we have them next week, actually, on Sunday Night Baseball, Yankees Red Sox, and this is a team that definitely needs at least one, if not two, arms in that rotation, because if they get another injury, that's going to be a huge weakness for a team that's really, really good.
Yeah, having already lost Jordan Montgomery for the season. Jessica Mendoza of Sunday Night Baseball joins us on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Get triple action protection for optimal engine performance with Shell V-Power Nitro Plus Premium Gasoline. That is the biggest word jumble of all time, and I get through it every time. But
on a Monday morning.
On a Monday morning,
well
no
done.
less, Jessica. So let's talk about the Dodgers here for a second. Look, they got off to this horrid start. Justin Turner was hurt for a while. They couldn't get out of their own way. Now all of a sudden they tie a modern record going back to 1900, 7 solo home runs. Where are the Dodgers on their path back to being what they were a year ago, which was having Game 7 of the World Series at their place and falling short?
Well, they struggled early on, and I felt like it was because Justin Turner wasn't in that lineup. That offense could not get going. The offense that we saw that was so dynamic that got them to the World Series. Now they get Clayton Kershaw back, and I think that's the missing piece that, yeah, you don't want to say it depends on one dude, but I think for them on the other half, the offense has been going. And by the way, Matt Kemp, it's been unbelievable the season that he's having, back in that Dodger uniform. But Kershaw comes back. He just pitches the 3 innings. I get it in New York Saturday night, but this is the guy that, you think about the LA Dodgers, he's the first one you think of, and it's him. He's their star. He's everything to that team. And to get him healthy, to get him basically starting consistently and knowing that his back is healthy. I mean, that's the thing, is we've seen him come back now a couple times, but then have to go back on the DL because of his back and them trying to make sure that they're preparing for him for the entire season. So I think getting him back is a good sign. I liked his last outing, even though I know he gave up a few runs, but the stuff was still there. It's just the command. So, yes, the Dodgers are exciting. I know the D-backs are winning the division right now, but I like that team, especially with him back.
Talking to Jessica Mendoza in the booth for us for Sunday Night Baseball, and I don't know how many of you baseball analysts picked the Phillies to be where they are right now. I didn't hear many people talking about them. Why are they 7 games above 500 right now and just 2.5 out of the NL East lead?
Well, one of the things is they're pitching, and I'm going to get into some of my favorite players on that team, but I like Aaron Nola a whole lot. And if you don't know who Aaron Nola is, this is a pitcher that when you talk about the Phillies, because, oh, by the way, they're going to be good for a long time. So they're on their uprise of being good right now, and I think they're a little ahead of schedule. But Aaron Nola is going to be a big, huge part of that he's going to be a star. He's an ace of that staff. He's still young. The way he throws the ball is exciting. I love watching, and I don't know if you watched last night at all. You can tell. Even my producer's like, you are geeked up on this guy, Odubel Herrera. He's their center fielder, and just watch this guy swing a bat. And I don't mean because it's so beautiful and amazing. It's actually not beautiful. And it's not amazing in the sense of how you would normally watch a beautiful left-handed swing. I mean, this dude's got his right foot back behind him. He's leaning on the outside part of his foot. He's all over the place with his leg kick. He looks like he's going to karate. He reminds me actually of a hitter version of Johnny Cueto. He's got different leg kicks, and he tries to mess with the pitcher. And half the time it doesn't work, and then all of a sudden he's got a triple the line. I mean, he's really dynamic, but I think he kind of represents what this Phillies team is. They're kind of must-see TV right now, and they're winning in a big way. I know they lost to the Nationals last night, but they competed. They won 2 of 3. I like this Phillies team, and even if they don't win the division, I think if they're a postseason team, 1 and 2, they're only going to get better because I see them with a Manny Machado or a huge name going into next season.
Jessica Mendoza with us. Manny Machado, of course, has been a guy that's been rumored to be on the trade block.
Right.
We'll see what happens with him. And then there's the issue, Jessica, with Bryce Harper. Look, his career the path that he's set on is pretty phenomenal, the things he's been able to do. But he is really struggling this year at the plate. The power numbers are there, but the consistency isn't. What's wrong with Bryce Harper's swing right now?
Well, I mean, it seemed like he figured a little bit out last night. I mean, it's 3 doubles and followed by 2 strikeouts. So
right.
you make a good point in the inconsistency in that, he was falling on the first base side. Literally, we come on air talking about how the guy can't hit breaking balls or pitches on the outside part of the plate because he's so off balance and we've seen that swing from him before. In 2016 when he struggled, I mean, this was a guy that just, because he's so powerful with his torque, he's going to fall off balance. But when he can keep his top half to the ball, which then we saw him make that adjustment in game, and he did it on a cookie pitch, right down the middle of first double, right? That gets the swag back. That gets him kind of okay, big moment. I actually crushed the ball instead of missing it after 2 strikeouts. Then he backs that up with 2 doubles on the pitch that he couldn't hit literally last week. So now it's does he keep it rolling? Because to your point, we've seen him. I mean, he had a double Friday night. It's not he's leading the league in home runs.
Right.
So it's not that the power's not there. He's just hitting over 200. So can he keep that consistency going? Because there's no doubt that him having 3 doubles and having a big night was a huge reason why they had the win last night.
Hey, Jessica, real quickly before we let you go, do you think there's any chance that what he's doing now, if he continues to struggle, will affect what he might command in the offseason?
I don't know, because Scott Boras is his agent, and I feel like everything that's already been put out there, the stupid numbers of $400 million,
right.
$500 million. I mean, that to me is ridiculous.
They're not stupid if they're paying it to you.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
So, if I'm a GM, I don't pay that. It's not because he's struggling right now, but just you got to look over the course of a career. This guy is one of the best players in baseball. There's no doubt. But he's never had 100 RBIs. There's this volatile nature to him that I think he's still trying to figure out. And there's no question that because he's in a free agent year, that's a big reason why he's struggling. So that tells me that under big pressure moments, he's still figuring it out. And granted, he's young. It's not this guy's in his 30s and he's a veteran dude. But I just feel like every GM doesn't think that way. And there's someone that's going to want to pay him because he's one of the biggest names.
Yep.
He can make a difference. And you can kind of build a team around it. So we'll see. I think he'll still ask, and especially with Scott Boras as his agent, they're definitely not going to back down.
If the Yankees are involved, those numbers are probably going to be where everybody's talking about it. Jessica, we appreciate you being with us this morning. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Jess.
Thanks, guys.
To give batters a different look, pitchers throw a changeup.
Your idea of a different look is sunglasses.
That's true. But La Quinta Inns and Suites is really taking the different look thing to a new level.
Definitely a major league makeover, starting with a bolder, brighter lobby full of comfortable spaces to let you settle in.
Or chill out in front of a big flat screen like Wingo would.
Oh, you know it. It's a changing La Quinta look to help you get in the zone and look sharp when you hit that big meeting.
Prepare to win at business with La Quinta Inns and Suites.
Book now at LQ.com. All right, Golic and Wingo with you, presented by Progressive Insurance. Our phone guests join us on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. We put it up on Twitter, if you weren't with us in the last segment, who won the weekend. Also, give us a call. Let us know who you think won the weekend, 860-506-5505. Again, our poll question had Harry Kane with his hat trick, Mexico with their second straight win at the World Cup, the Dodgers, who had 7 solo home runs, ties a record in the modern era, dating back to the horse and buggy of 1900 times, or Bronny James Jr. But there are other things out there.
Tons.
For example, Cruz from Germany with his FIFA video game-esque game winner in the 95th minute to make that work. So that's unbelievable. And get in touch with us. We want to know what you think. Who won the weekend?
I think you won the weekend because you won at Pinehurst when we went out there with our groups. By the way, a fantastic weekend.
Golic and Wingo Leadership Retreat.
The best thing was it seems all our winners and their guests had a good time.
Yes.
And that was number one. Our crew did a great job taking care of them. Elizabeth, Devin, and Shanice were fantastic. Pinehurst was great. But on the 18th, I would say it again, the 18th hole, they marked the ball where Payne Stewart hit that putt in 1999 to win the U.S. Open.
Still the longest par putt ever made to win the U.S. Open.
And that stance he had, the fist pump that's now a statue, they gave us all a chance after we played the hole to hit that putt. And out of our group of 16, 3 people hit it, and you were one of them. You heart of the cup.
It was awesome.
Perfect speed, heart of the cup. Then you hit the pose.
Yeah.
That was very cool. I in all honesty, if one of the 3 of us, because Stugat's into golf too, so either you, me, or Junior would have hit it. I'm glad you did. Because you're into golf way more than we are.
Especially since I double bogeyed the 18th. I'm really glad I
forgot
made that
about
putt.
that. But that was very cool that you hit that putt, and it was great that they let everybody putt from that spot.
And you know what else was a win? I was not in the ESPN The Body issue.
We would have needed a lot of staples for coverage.
There's just that's a hard pass. But here are the people that are thank you, by the way. That's a victory for everybody. Saquon Barkley, Giants running back.
I just can't wait to see his legs.
I'm looking at them now. They're ridiculous.
Dude is ridiculous with his legs.
By the
Unreal.
way, he has the highest selling jersey in NFL sales right now. He's the number one selling jersey.
It's not shocking that an incoming rookie has done that before, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure
it's happened before.
Yeah,
but I mean, he hasn't played it down yet. He's got the best selling jersey in the
impressive.
NFL. The other people that are in there, Sue Bird and Megan Rapinoe. Sue, of course, for the Seattle Storm, and Megan Rapinoe, U.S. Women's National Team. Tori Bowie, gold medal winning Olympic sprinter. Lauren Chamberlain, professional softball player. Jessica Diggins, gold medalist Olympic cross-country skier.
Yeah.
Crystal Dunn from the U.S. Women's National Team. Charlotte Flair, the pitcher for the Astros, Dallas Keuchel. Yasiel Puig. One of my favorites, Zlatan is there.
Zlatan is there.
And let me tell you something. Zlatan has tats where everybody thinks he's got tats everywhere. Let's just leave it at that.
Don't know how. That's got to be painful.
Some of the places he has tats, I'm not sure that I would want tats there.
Adam Rippon, the bronze medal winner who just finished up, who won Dancing with the Stars. Jerry Rice.
Yep.
Brianna Stewart from the Seattle Storm. Karl Anthony Towns. And Greg Norman. How old is Greg Norman?
He's got to be mid-50s. And he looks ripped.
He looks great. It reminds me,
ripped.
What year was it that Gary Player?
Yeah.
Gary Player was in it. That was incredible.
Yeah. Greg Norman is 63.
He's 63.
Greg Norman is 63.
And Gary Player was in his 80s, was he not?
I think he was 79
upper 70s when he went. But still, ridiculous.
The fact that he's 63, look, I'm not going to spend a large portion of my day checking out Greg Norman's anatomy, but
still,
he's 63.
Listen, you get some of these other athletes. Listen, your body is your temple, and you're going to keep yourself in great shape. And some of these are some of the best shape you've seen. But to see guys that are 63, 79 years old, that are so
depressing.
Uninhibited to go ahead and just do that.
It's a little depressing.
Oh, without a doubt. It's incredible.
You look good, and you're 55, right?
Yeah.
Add 8 years, and then go look at Greg Norman. It's humbling.
I was when I was about 28, 29, so I'm supposed to be in the prime, right? The prime of my athletic career. I'm playing for the Eagles. I'm probably weighing about 290, but, it's supposed to be a good 290.
Right.
It's supposed to be.
Supposedly.
We were shooting some goofy thing, and I did one of the segments with my shirt off, sitting in a chair.
Yeah.
And then...
How'd that work out?
When I saw it, I'm like, oh, my God, I'm supposed to be an athlete. Again, I look like a vanilla milkshake. I'm like, are you kidding me? It was horrific. So the way they look, and then the one great story when I saw a piece on it, they still said the legendary story was Rob Gronkowski.
Of course it is.
Gronk walked onto set, and they said, Gronk, we have a robe and slippers for you. Said he looked over at the robe, and he said, I'm good.
Yeah.
And just walked over buck naked in front of the screen to start taking his pictures.
The best part, he probably was that, give me the slippers.
Yeah.
I want my feet to be comfortable.
Yeah.
Don't need the robe, but
Everything
I'm
else
all
is good. Yeah.
with the slippers. Again, check out ESPN, The Body Issue, the 10th anniversary. It's out there now. Meanwhile, Melo opts in for 27.9. What does that mean? We'll discuss that next. Stay with us. It means he's rich. That's what it means.
Next, you're holding up the line, ma'am.
What did you say?
You're next in line for the water slide, ma'am. Feet forward and enjoy the ride.
Okay, dearie, this does look fun. Whee! You melted me. I've melted.
The Wicked Witch of the West on a water slide? Surprising. What's not surprising? How much you could save by switching to Geico.
See what you've done. Oh!
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.